What's up everybody, Sed here, and today I'll be covering the do's and don'ts with Raid the Dungeon. So, with that being said, I guess it's time to log in. So, as a new player, this game gives you 3 Holy and 3 Inferno vouchers, and if you haven't got your 3 Inferno vouchers, make sure you click on Novice Gift, and then claim those as well as the Economy Pass. And then once you have done that, go click on Store, then click on the little armor icon thing right next to VIP, to the right of VIP, and there you will see your tickets. And with your holy tickets, you get to actually pick, and what you want to go for is the Emperor set. So here's the Emperor belt. You want one of those, you want one of these, and you're going to want one of these. That's because gold is super important, and especially as a new player. I mean, even when you get to the end game, gold is extremely important. But by getting this set right away, you will definitely have a pretty good advantage and a pretty good start into the game. Next up is Inferno. This one's kind of controversy. Just because as a new player you get this ring that you need. I think it's like a day 6 or day 7 reward. So it depends on how impatient you are. If you're extremely impatient, you can go ahead and use 3 Inferno tokens to go ahead and grab your Void Band, which is huge because what this ring does is gives you +1 to sets. And I'll explain in more detail why that's good, but that's really huge because it'll give you +1 Inferno and Holy sets, which is really big. But if you are patient and you can wait the 6 or 7 days to get this ring and your melee, then you're going to want to get the Arctic Sword, which that's not it. There we go. The Arctic Sword is extremely good and one of the best starting off swords you'll get until you get to later, which I'll explain the better weapon, but this weapon will last you quite a long time. So this is kind of what you're going to be looking at right now as far as gear goes. You're going to want the 2-piece Odin set, the 3-piece Emperor set, and then you're going to want the Evil Boots. Plus the Void Ring, which I don't have because I don't need it and it's been a while since I've needed it. So the Void Ring will go in one of these ring slots, and then of course your main weapon will be the Arctic Sword. So let's head over and I will show you what you could use for your second ring and your shield. So if you have a high amount of crit percent because you're stacking a bunch of crit percent items, which you want 100% crit, especially starting off, later on you're going to want more, but for new players your goal is to hit 100% crit. And if you're there or close to it, EMP shield will definitely shine as it gives you the crit damage increase. If you don't, or you know, whatever, you can also go for this one. This will give you 90% extra boss damage. I prefer EMP because crit damage works on everybody and boss damage only works on boss, but to each is his own. So I'm not sure if melee can use this shield. It's been a while. If melee can, you could definitely use this one as an alternative. If not, you can just stick with that one or the EMP. So moving on to your second ring slot, because your first one should be the Void Band. You have a choice really. You can go for Valk to get that penetration because penetration is pretty big, or if you're low on crit you could go for one of those. You know, it doesn't really matter. Whatever one you get the best for that extra 20% crit. So it just depends on what you need. If you need more crit, you can go with breath. If you have good crit, then, you know, penetration will definitely be the choice to fill in your last ring slot. So I know a lot of people are going to be confused and be like, hey Sed, why are you rocking holy gear? Why aren't you putting on infernal gear? Why aren't you putting on eternal gear? Isn't red and purple better than holy? And the answer is simply no. I mean, minus the few infernos that I did mention, outside of that, no. No, it's a trap, especially as new players. That is one of the most common mistakes new players do, is they try to skip holy because they think holy is bad, and so they try to stack as much inferno and eternal gear. That's completely wrong, and if you do that, you'll sadly get stuck, especially if you don't have Emperor's Set. That's another way you can easily get stuck, because gold is huge. If you don't have gold, you won't be able to enhance your gear, and you're going to kind of fall behind. Because the thing is, when you're farming chapters, rifts, and then later in life the fire rifts, you're farming that in gold gear. Like, you want gold set, so it's good to start getting your gold set good to go. So once you get to the higher end places, your gold set is good. Like, one of the most common mistakes is people level damage set, and then they have to kind of start over and reinvest and re-enhance new gear because they don't have any gold, and now they're stuck because they don't have a high gold percentage, so they can't afford to upgrade. So it's really good to start off with the Emperor set, so you can get that gold set going, so you can get this good base. Because honestly, these boots and these armor, they're gonna last you for a long time, especially the Emperor set. Like, they're gonna last you a really long time. Even once you hit Eternal, like, you'll still be using a lot of this. So don't fall for the Inferno / Eternal traps. Just keep this set. And one of the things why I say that is because once you get your gear to 5-star, you can evolve it. So for an example, this is evil boots, right? But guess what? This is also the same boots, but with the enhancing / evolving, I was able to take these holy boots all the way up to mythic, which is the highest grade there is. It's beyond eternal, it's mythic. So just because it's holy doesn't mean it's bad. Just enhance it up to 5-star, evolve it, and keep going. And before you know it, those are gonna outperform your Infernos and Eternals. And for those of you who are wondering, well, Sed, how do I know when I'm ready to make the switch over to Eternals? Well, that is a good question, and I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. So, how do you know you are ready to make the switch over to Eternal? That is one of the best questions you could ever ask, because there's two different ways to know. And if you switch before these, you're going to be kind of screwing yourself, and the other set is better. But one of the ways, well, you'll see this a lot in chat. People will say Pog Set, Pog Set, Pog Set. Pog Set is this, Power of God. So you need this necklace with this earring, and with this 2 set, you'll get a +2 to mythic sets and lower, which is huge because the void ring gives you +1 to infernos. So this is way better. This gives you +2. I do want to point out these do not stack. If you have a void ring plus this, you do not get 3. It's just a flat 2. So once you get the Pog set, then you can start to kind of make the switch over to Eternals. And I don't want to cover that gear set because that is another video, but I do want to point that out for new players, so you guys do know, do not make the switch until you get the Pog set. Or there is one exception. You could get the YGG with a random roll of a +1. So you could roll a +1 YGG with the Transcender to then give you the +2. Or another exception is you could get a behemoth eye +1, which then again you could roll with the transcender or the absolute to give you the +2 effect. So that is the only exception. I'm not going to cover eternal gear because that is definitely in a different video, which will probably be the next video I make. So let's talk about relics. Relics is going to be huge. So what you're going to be wanting to do is you're going to want to max out the goblin relic, goblin's post relic, sage relic for the gold, and then of course the elf king's flute. That's going to be super huge. First things first, you're going to want to join a guild. Make sure you do join an active guild because that really does matter. So once you do join a guild, go ahead and click the guild icon. Then you're going to want to click on airships. Of course, you're going to want to do your guild bosses every day. They reset every day, so make sure you do those. That's going to be huge. Also, you're going to want to click on airship. Then you're going to want to click on airship again. Now, you're going to want to spend your quartz maxing out this ship. This is huge as this gives you marks of rift, which is really huge. Then the second ship you're going to want to max out is this one. This one gives you the crafting materials to max out your relics, which I will talk about later. But those two ships are huge and 100% where all of your quartz should be going. So now that your two ships are maxed out, what you're going to want to do is, depending on your eternal token situation, you're going to want to do 1 × 10 roll a day. If you're not getting that many, don't worry about it. Wait until you start getting more to do a ×10 roll a day. But you're going to want, well, once you start getting enough eternal tokens, you're going to want to at least do 1 of these a day. Always make sure you do ×10. ×10 guarantees you 1 rare pet. And I mean, you could also get more than 1, but at least it guarantees 1 rare pet. And what you're going to be wanting is, you're going to be wanting a Jed, 2 golden dragons, and 2 goblins. Now, over at the one that costs quartz, same thing. You're going to want to do ×10 to get to that 1 guaranteed. And you are going to be wanting these, the Dwarf King Jeds. This is going to be huge for your block set. Let me just go and grab my companion so you can kind of see what the finished product looks like. This is what you're going to be looking for as far as a pushing setup. You're going to want the 4 yellow Jeds. I almost said 3. I can't count. You're going to want the 4 yellow Jeds, the 1 Inferno Jed, and you're going to be wanting the War Drum. That's going to be huge. This is going to be for your pushing build. Then your next setup is going to be for gold. You're going to want the 2 goblins, the 2 gold dragons, and then of course a 1 red and 1 yellow Jed. Those are, you know, for survivability, because block rate is amazing. So I briefly covered Relic when I was talking about the ships. So the Relic priority is, you don't want any fire. I was a new player. I screwed up. Don't do this. You want 0 fire, 1, 1, 2, which means this needs to be 2 times higher than these 2. Blue and green should be equal level. Mine's a little messed up because I've been doing this event, so kind of ignore these levels. But this needs to be 2 times higher than green and blue. So it goes 1, 1, 2. That's your priority list for these. And this is really, really huge. And then as far as this goes, this needs to be 2 times higher than these 2. These 2 can be equal level, especially as a new player, you're not really sure what to do. Make sure this is 2 times higher than these 2, These two can be equal level. I'll explain a little bit more in an advanced guide of exactly how to do these, but as a new player, that's the rule of thumb. Weapon is 2 times higher, and these are just 1 time, so make sure you are leveling those accordingly. Alright guys, we are almost done. So one of the things you want to be doing, especially as a new player, is farming chapters. Farming chapters is going to be huge because that's where you get your crafting materials, and that's where you also get your mark of rips. So the rule of thumb when it comes to farming chapters is you want to be able to farm 51-2 with 1 minute and 20-second runs on average. And if you cannot do that, you're going to want to go down to 39-1. And, you know, of course, you're looking for the same times. Do not go from 39-1 up to 51-2 unless you're farming 51-2 within a minute 20. If you're not, go back to 39-1 and just kind of stay there until you can build up a set to then farm the 51-2. So, as a new player, you are going to have a bunch of holy gear and a bunch of inferno gear, and you're probably wondering what to do with them. Keep note though on the gear I said earlier as far as holy and inferno. Those are the gear you want. Anything else you're going to want to fit to your gear, which means all of the extra holy gear you get, you're going to want to then throw into your gear to enhance and evolve it. With all of the extra inferno gear, you are going to want to disenchant those, because with those you get eternal tokens, and with those eternal tokens you will be able then to go to the store, click the cube, and you're going to want to pick, you know, it depends on where you're at, either the armor or the accessories. And a same thing, you're going to want to do times 10. Do know though, times 50 and times 10 are the same thing. You don't get better gear in times 50. Times 10 and times 50 are the same. So what you want to do is you're going to want to save up 2,000 and do these boxes. Depending on where you're at, it's either going to be the weapon and armor set or the jewelry sets. But either way, you're going to want to do the times 10 crits to start kind of building up, and then also you will get a bunch of infernos. Then you can disenchant to get more eternal tokens. Thus, you are now at the place where now you are farming eternals. But remember, eternals are a trap unless you know, get what I say before. Don't do them. It's a trap. Wait until you're ready. It's good to have them and sit on them than to not have them. So this is kind of what you're going to want to be spending your eternal tokens on, besides the once a day with the pet. But outside of that, that's pretty much it when it comes to the whole gear enhancing / disenchanting. So we're almost done. One of the other things you want to be looking for is extractions. You know, set extractions, they're huge. So as a free-to-play player, you will have, well, technically 3, but realistically 2 choices to make. As a free-to-play player, you have to make the choice of either doing gold leech, or you can do crit leech. I've seen some people do rift leech as well. You could do that, but as a free-to-play player, you have to really put some thought into it. I can't tell you which one's better because they're all good. Gold, of course, is good because you need a ton of gold. So having double gold here with leech isn't super bad. Also crit leech is good, but that's only really good for later game, because later game minuses crit % chance, which is why stacking extra crit here is good. So you're gonna have to make the personal decision whether you want to stack 2 gold and a leech or 2 crits and a leech. Yeah, one thing I should mention is over in store, don't buy these prophecy seals unless you're just super loaded with a fat wallet. These are just a trap. You can do way better things in life than those. And one thing I do want to mention is this game is super kind to free-to-play players. There's no forcing. They don't tie your hands. If you don't want to pay money, that's fine. You can progress. This game is more it's pay for convenience. So I recommend if you have $30 and you're super enjoying the game, to just buy the quest pack. The quest packs are really big. They will help you out, and they will give you you'll have enough for the premium pass, which is really good. Again, it's not needed, it's convenient. But then also being VIP 4, which is the $30 to $32 range, you get auto disenchant, which is a quality of a life improvement. Again, it's not needed, but is it convenient? Yeah, it's super convenient. So my thing is this: if you're enjoying the game, go ahead, drop the $30 on the quest pack. So therefore, you have enough quest points to keep your premium pass up for 3 to 4 months. I did it because I love the game. I didn't feel like I was tied to do it. I just really loved the game and I thought it was convenient. So I decided to do it. And when I did the math, it came out to be like $7 or $8 a month. And I don't mind that, because with games like World of Warcraft and stuff, you're paying $15 a month plus $60 expansions every 6 months. So for me, $7 a month or $8 a month isn't that bad. So especially not for a game that I'm really loving. So that's also an option you can do. Again, you're not forced into it. So I don't want you guys thinking this is pay to win, but that's definitely something I should mention. One other thing I should mention is, as a new player, you're going to want to do these. Watch the Soulstone ads. And within, I think it was like 2.5 days of doing these Soulstone ads, you will be able to get the Griffin. This Griffin is going to be the best speed farmer you'll get for a long time. I mean, it's going to be a minute before you get anything better than this. When you're trying to push the Griffin airship, this one you will have for the longest time. I have not replaced this yet, and I'm pretty far in the game, and I've never replaced it. This is still my go-to. Like, this is just super amazing. There is an exception. I'm not going to cover it. That's super end game and pointless for me to even mention it. Don't even know who I am. But this is going to last you a good while. I don't want to say forever, because with updates and changes, who knows. But this one and this one will definitely be the bread and butter for the longest time. So those need to be the first 2 that you get. Outside of that, guys, that's pretty much it. So I'll make a part 2 covering more mid-game to end-game kind of gear and the do's and don'ts. So until then, I will see you in the next one.